Congrats everyone, we made it through another year. So just like last year, I wanted to reflect again about everything that's happened because this has been a very crazy year for me. I'm on to my third job, not because I've been fired, just because, I moved on. And I got a new apartment, I got a dog. There's just been so much that's been going on, especially with the channel, that I wanted to take a look back and also talk about where I'm going to go in the next year. So looking back at 2019, first of all, as always, I just want to say thank you so much. I've had a lot of really great steady growth over the year. I've been floating around 250 subscribers recently, so I may or may not be at that when I post this video, but that's great. That's like over 100 subs that I had since last year, I think. My Doomslayer moveset is at 12,000 views, which is, again, absolutely nuts. But some of the biggest stuff that started happening this year was all the new stuff that I did with the channel. First and foremost, I started 4 Minutes 4. That kind of took over as my main reviewing and discussion format instead of the really long show videos about specific movies. And I like that format a lot. There will be a couple times where I'll use the longer form videos again, but only for covering broader topics, I think. I'm going to keep specific stuff and new releases to 4 Minutes 4. I think it's just a nice, snappy format, especially with this nice thing right here. I feel like the green screen has increased my quality like 200-fold. I also started doing some live streams, mostly did a bunch of Smash, but did a couple things here and there. I would like to get back to that, but it is just kind of a hard time sink when I don't really have a setup. I just have to like bring my mic out to the living room where all my stuff is. So we'll see. I would like to do a little bit more of that, but it's probably not going to be a focus because, again, I could use that time to work on other videos and ideas. I released 4 new moveset videos. I did one for Steve, the Knight, a 10-character video on Marvel characters in Smash, and finally Sora. I think quality-wise, they're way better than the stuff I was making before. I just like the actual format of the video a lot more. So I kind of wish I could go back and redo those old videos, especially Doomslayer, because I have some changes in mind that I would do with him. But, it's just part of growing and becoming a better creator. The other big series that I started for this channel was 4 Minutes 4. And nope, I already said that. The other big series that I started on this channel was Ready Moveset Go. I really could not be more thankful for PK King, Pizza Dude Man Guy, Nantenjex, and most recently guest starring Brawl Fan for coming on and just being a part of those videos. It's a ton of fun. I would love to do them more. That's not going to be super consistent because we do have all of our stuff going on and it's a lot to edit, but it's really enjoyable. I'm glad people seem to like it, and I'm glad it was an idea that I was able to get off the ground. I also put out a cover of Jack's Lament, which I loved doing. It was the first musically intensive project that I've done in a while, but it was so much fun. I'm really happy with the end result. And with that, along with the old video that me and my friends did of Icy the Snowman, I would like to do more stuff like that coming up, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. I also made a Patreon. Nothing's really happened with it yet. It's kind of just there for the future, but I did it. I also did a bunch of other stuff throughout the year. Obviously, I haven't just been in the room working on this channel as much as I would like to be. First off, I made a list of everything that I've talked about in the context of this channel. I'll leave a link for that in the description, but basically it'll just be a constantly updating ranking of everything that I've talked about here, including stuff that didn't necessarily get a numerical ranking like on those old show videos. For movies, I made a video of basically every movie that I saw last year, except for 2. There was one that I did a written review for, and there was one that I literally didn't talk about at all as far as I can tell. Those were Glass and Bumblebee. Glass, according to my written review, I was pretty into when I first saw it, but now I can barely even remember it, so it doesn't have that great a ranking. I don't know if I'd really recommend it still. Like I said, it just has not left a strong impression on me at all. And Bumblebee was cute. It was extremely forgettable, but it was a good step forward compared to the other Transformers movies. So, it's, if you want someone to put on the TV in the background, I'd recommend it. I also saw 2 movies this year that will probably get reviews in 2020. The first of those that I will definitely be releasing a review for is Cats. Yeah. And the other one is Knives Out. It was a really fantastic movie that I liked a lot. I brought it up a little bit in my ranking Star Wars video, but I think as long as nothing else is really going on at that time, that will probably be the 4 Minutes 4 that comes out after Cats. I have a couple changed scores from when I first saw the movies, which again you can see on that list. It was 3 scores that changed. They were all drops. Lego Movie 2 went from 8.5 to 8 just because as much as I enjoyed it and that I would probably enjoy it on rewatch, I haven't really had the interest to rewatch it again, which is not always a great sign. Captain Marvel went from 6.5 to 5.5. The more I thought about it and just the more the movie sat with me, I'm just really not interested in it. I don't like a lot of the stuff they did. A lot of it was just kind of boring for me. So that dropped a good bit compared to when I first saw it in theaters. And finally, John Wick Chapter 3 went from a 7.5 to a 7. Again, just kind of the memorability of it all. I still think that John Wick's 1 and 2 were far better. I'm going to be looking directly at my phone now because this next section is called List of Grievances for Rise of Skywalker that I didn't have time for in the other review. The Knights of Ren were absolutely pointless and should have been used as essential components since like minute 1, like I suggested. They were brought up in Force Awakens, why not use them in Force Awakens? Hell, they were students of Luke's, why not have them use some kind of weird lightsaber weapons like that all seemed built like the same way Kylo did his, or maybe they all used force powers, or just have them and Kylo be a little bit more buddy-buddy. Just total waste of a concept. The masked girl, I think her name is Zori, just changes her tune so light speed quickly. Like she goes from, I'm gonna blow your brains out, to, why don't you escape this planet with me, to, here, take my only form of safe passage around the galaxy, to, hey, I'm gonna fight in this war for you. It just makes absolutely no sense. A total waste of a character. Hux's reveal was kind of sloppy. I mean, I saw it coming since 8, so I was okay with it, but still, it could have been done cooler, maybe. Not only were there a ludicrous amount of Star Destroyers, but they were also mini Death Stars, which is like, come on, man. Leia's death sucked and had just totally no impact at all. Again, because they had to reuse so much footage. She probably could have come about later as a Force Ghost if she was still alive, but it just didn't work out. Rey Skywalker. Finn being Force sensitive just makes no sense to come out of the blue. Was that a response to people being angry that he could use a lightsaber? So I don't know what the point of that was. Just totally stupid. They had no idea what to do with Finn. Totally should have been a couple with Poe, or even Rose at this point if they didn't cut her out of the entirety of the movie. And finally, all the fake outs were really dumb, like I said. The Chewie one was so stupid and was really, on top of being a bad idea, was also edited really strangely and poorly. Like they were mid talking about how sad they were, and then they showed Chewie, and then they kept going on being sad. Like that doesn't make any sense. They should have played out the entire scene of people being sad and mourning, and then played the Chewie thing. Or just not played the Chewie thing at all. And then when Rey feels Chewie's presence when Kylo Ren shows up on the Star Destroyer, then you can show a clip of Chewie or something. Again, it just makes no sense. And then the 3PO memory thing was just dumb and a waste of time. For the shows I watched, no changes at all. I think I would still recommend all of them. Same goes for the one game I reviewed last year. I would like to do more game reviews in the future. It's just a harder thing because of time constraints. I would also like to do more music reviewing in the future. That might be more of a longer form thing because I don't know if 4 minutes 4 is the best format for that. I think I'll try to approach that from a different angle in the future, but I would like to do it more. I want to bring the focus of music back to this channel a bit more. And here's just a couple miscellaneous things that I watched or played that I enjoyed but didn't really get to talk about them. I finally have been starting to catch up on Stranger Things. I watched seasons 1 and 2. 1 was better than 2. I still haven't watched 3, but I do like that show a lot. I played a bunch of Risk of Rain 2, and that's actually a really fun game. It's like a really dangerous time sink, but it's a ton of fun. I think if they just fix up all the bugs and stuff, like I've been stuck floating through the air more times than is necessary for that game. So I think if they fix that stuff up, it would be a phenomenal game. I also just started playing Dead by Daylight. I know that's, a moderately older game at this point, but I just started playing it. I really enjoy that a lot. The skill checks just are such a key, great mechanic. So I would recommend you play that if you get the chance. And if you don't really care about graphics, like it does look a little silly on Switch, but who cares? It's a fun game. Briefly, I was playing Killer Queen Black with my friends. We haven't really gone back to it yet, but that seems like a really cool competitive game too. I actually kind of forget about Mario Maker 2 because I haven't been playing it much recently. I didn't even make as many stages on that than I did on Mario Maker 1, which I didn't even own, just because I haven't really had the time to sit down and try to make ideas and play around with stuff. But it is still really fun, like I do enjoy it, so maybe I'll try to go back to that at some point. Along with streaming that, I also streamed the original Doom for a time, And I think it's a great, fun, arcadey kind of experience. I can definitely see how influential it's been. It's just kind of fun. I really enjoy it. I don't know how much I'm going to go back to play through it, and I haven't really touched Doom 2 yet. But it's a really enjoyable old game. I finally beat Death Road to Canada. That's another really fun game I would recommend. Death Road to Canada was one of those things that I played as a couple with my girlfriend, and another one of those was Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. That was another really good one, and I would highly recommend it for a co-op experience. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of couple stuff, again, I have been going back to Overcooked 2 over and over. They've had some great support for that game, and we actually just today, I think, or yesterday, beat the new seasonal update. They just keep adding really fun, good stuff. Overcooked 2 still does feel a little bit easier than Overcooked 1 ever was, but the Horde stuff is really fun and a great new addition, and they keep adding new foods and new mechanics and stuff, so they're doing a great job. The last new game I played is Screen Cheat, which is a really fun couch co-op shooter where you have to use other people's screens to successfully kill them, and that's a ton of fun. I haven't had a lot of time to play it, but it's another one that I would highly recommend. And I first played that game, Segway, at Super Smash Con. You may remember that there was a time that I did not shut up about Smash Con. Not only did I keep streaming Smash as Road to Smash Con, but I also talked about maybe having a panel there. That didn't happen, and I kind of just didn't understand the context. See, before Smash Con, I had only gone to stuff like anime conventions or MagFest, where it kind of seemed like anyone could get a panel if you had any sort of credentials at all. So I thought it was going to be kind of a thing like that, and I had 2 panel ideas, one where I talked about what gets a character into Smash Bros, and another about Fantasy Smash Ball, the old video that I made that you should still totally check out and I might bring back. But SmashCon only has like one main stage, so it just would not have worked out that way. That's why I didn't get the panel. So I can't fault them for that at all. I might try to bring those ideas back in videos for 2020, or maybe try to bring them to different conventions, but we'll see. Either way, SmashCon was a lot of fun, even if I went 0-2 and just got destroyed. But now we're done with 2019, and let's move on to what we're doing in 2020. I mentioned this earlier, but for 2020, I really want to push the focus back to more music. Last year, I was able to put up Jack and Icy's song. So in 2020, I definitely want to share a couple other smaller songs that I've done in the past, either for projects or just for my own personal stuff. There's a couple tunes that I really like, and I think that you would like as well. So I'll be putting those up probably within the next month. I just gotta re-edit them and put them into new videos. But more importantly, I'm going to be finally working on 3113 again. I know I said it would come out this year, but like I said, it's been a really busy year. I haven't had the chance to actually get a band together, so I'm changing my approach a little bit. I'm going to be recording acoustic demos that I may or may not share. It might be a Patreon only thing. So that's going to kind of help me work out the songs, and I should almost definitely be able to put out that whole thing within 2020. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited for a lot of these songs. Like I said, I'm also going to go back to some longer form videos with the Show series. I'm not going to be focusing on anything specific, like one specific movie, but I do have a lot of ideas coming up that will be better for that format. I'm going to be talking about the way that My Chemical Romance structures their albums. I'm going to be talking about the Avatar movie series. Probably more of a Room 100 gaming thing, but I'm going to talk about what Valve characters could get into Smash. Just a bunch of discussion videos that I'm really excited for. And beyond that, there's just a ton of ideas that I have that I'm going to start to work on and develop and see if there's any way that I can bring them out to you guys. I have an idea for a card game, for a bunch of different video games, for a short film. I just have a ton of ideas, but not really the time or the resources or the people to do them. So if I start to get more of a following on Patreon, I'll be able to share some of those ideas. And I'm just going to start working on them. Probably going to focus on the card game one first, because I think I can actually get that out there. But yeah, just stay tuned for that stuff. I do want to get away from the more, I guess, kind of generic YouTube stuff and start to bring out some really interesting, totally original stuff. So thank you so much for coming along throughout all of this. I hope that I can continue to make stuff that you enjoy watching. Like I said, there's going to be some more 4Minutes4 coming out, as well as posting those old short little songs. So I hope you enjoy all of that. So stay tuned, thanks for watching, and have a happy new year.